Right now, I don't have that much money to buy all the furniture and all the decoration things that I want to have. And nonetheless, it feels so much like my space, and I feel so at home. I can't even describe it. So, well, I am going to describe it in this video. That's what this video is about. Here's a couple of things that I've noticed that I've done to make me feel so much at home right now. Number one thing was asking myself what is really important for me being in my space. So, for example, I absolutely enjoy silence. And as you know, I live in Mexico City, so silence is a little bit hard to come by, unless you live, like in kind of suburban-y areas, which in my case, I don't. Number one thing that I bought was a set of earphones, a set of earplugs, and my Echo Dot. So I know Echo Dot doesn't create silence per se, but it does create an ambiance with music depending on the mood that I'm in or depending on the activities that I'm doing in the day. And that for me makes all the difference in the world while being at home if it sounds like you. Other people, for example, would be more inclined to something more visual, like a television. Yes, I'm a millennial. If you hadn't noticed already. Now, the second thing that is super important for me in my house is the smell of it. And it's so important to me to the extent that I very carefully choose the cleaning products that I use. For example, I would never ever use a cleaning product that smells like lavender or like that ocean spray smell or pine. I hate those smells. I do not like them. In that area, I'm more of a fruity person. And even though it's just gonna smell for a little while, when I'm mopping the floors, I don't care. Like, it just creates, again, this ambiance that this space is mine. And because this space is mine, it's going to smell like apple when I mop the floors. You know what I mean? The same thing when I'm washing the dishes. Like my detergent right now, I think it's like, I don't know, something fruity as well. I think it's like a cherry or something. Again, even though it's just like a temporary smell while I am washing the dishes, that creates an ambience for me. While I was moving here, one of the first things that I bought was scented candles. So I had a scented candle with vanilla because that's the smell, one of the smells that I love. It just creates this feeling of this is my space. Okay, the third most important thing for me is the colors that are in my house. So this one I think is the most time consuming and also the one that is the most expensive, I would say. And by most expensive, I mean out of all the ones that I'm gonna mention, not that it actually is that expensive. So for example, when I first got here, I only had like a couple of throws and blankets and stuff, all the different types of colors everywhere. So there was reds and there are greens and grays, and there was like a white one with purple detailing. So it's just all over the place. And that was one of the things that I wouldn't say that made me uncomfortable, but it was one of the things that made me see that this wasn't my space yet. So again, one of the very first things that I bought was a nice set of bed sheets and bed covers and whatnot. And also, even before the bed sheets, what I did was paint my walls. So my walls are again painted by my favorite colors. They were painted by me, and I kid you not, I remember probably like the third day that I was painting, I felt this joy cover my whole body and mind at one time. And I remember I was there with Poshka, and I was on a little stool because I was painting like the top corner of the wall, and I was listening to Let It Go. And I mean, it's a very powerful song. I mean, I haven't watched that movie. I don't even know what it's called. Frozen. I haven't even watched that movie, but the song I think is great. I think the lyrics are amazing. And I was painting that wall, and I felt so pleased with myself, so proud of myself that I was at that point there painting my wall by myself in a place that I was paying for by myself. It's just such a rush. And I started crying, obviously, just because of the fact that I was covering these walls that used to be someone else's, and they were turning to be mine with this beautiful color that I had picked out at Home Depot. So that's the third thing, color. So the other thing is all into one. One of my biggest pet peeves, which is kind of dumb because it's something so simple and it's over in like a split second almost, is I hate getting out of the shower and touching the cold floor with my bare feet. I absolutely hate it. So I needed to have a bath mat. That was it. Like, again, that was one of the very first things that I got. Even though it was not a necessity, it was something very important for me to get. And now that I'm talking about necessities, I also believe that before like going into all these details, the necessities have to be taken care of beforehand. So in my case, I was very lucky because I found this apartment practically already to be lived in. So the water was running, well, kind of. I had like an issue with the water. I'll do a story time about that later. But I mean, that was a problem like from the whole like place that I'm living in, not my house. But okay, so the water was running, the gas was fine, electricity, everything. There were no like, broken windows, or I didn't have to get curtains to have some privacy, like they were already set up. I could use the stove, everything was working. So all the necessities were really taken care of, with the exception of a few tweaks that I had to do, like one of the shower taps was loose, and I had to screw it back on with whatever I had in hand. And what else? Oh, and the thing the little thingy where you flush the toilet, that was kind of loose as well, so I had to fix that. But apart from those two things, that was it. So then I could actually focus on making, those little small purchases to make this place my own. If it were up to me, I would have already bought a couch with the color that I want, right? But right now I am spending my money on other things that I actually do need. So this couch that I'm sitting on is actually like a wine color. I mean, I like wine and the color, but not, to decorate my house with. So I had this is like a pashmina, so I threw it on there, and it looks like, it's like it's a white couch, but it's not. Kind of whitish. But it just makes it feel a little bit more like it's towards, it's heading towards where I want it to be. The same thing goes for my my desk chair. So my desk chair is black. Again, I like black, but it's not part of like the palette that I want to decorate my house with. So I actually have it covered with this very shiny, I'm looking at it right now, this shiny skirt. But it doesn't look like a skirt, I swear to you. It's a shiny skirt, and it's just covering like the top of it. but again, it like da el piñazo. It makes it look like, you know, the like a real thing, and it just makes it be so much better. And little things like that, you know, working with what I have right now, and it's very cool to see that, you know, with those tiny details, I can feel so much at home. So the main takeaway that I wanted to share with you today is that you don't really need that much money to make even a rental place feel like your home. I think identifying the things that are most important to you, to make you feel in your space, and targeting, you know, those very small things, even if it's like a bath mat for me, like in my case, or an organizer for your cutlery. If those things are going to make you feel more comfortable, immediately you're going to feel more in your space. So that would be my advice to you. Once you target all those necessities and your water is running and you have your gas and you have your electricity and everything is set up, pinpoint those necessities, even if they're small, and little by little, you're gonna make that rental home your own. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, to hit the little bell, to like, to comment, to show the love that you want to show. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.